It's working. Nice. Okay. What about the sound? Yep. Okay. Sweet. Let's get the chat open on my phone. Surprise streams are the best. Good evening, or morning, or day. Why do some texts in the chat have a little, oh, is it auto-translated? Oh, that's what that means. Because there's like a Japanese or Chinese character before some of them. Oh, okay. I think that's what that means. I'm watching you while I work. Oh, that's very nice. Let me see. Can I get the chat on my phone, please? Nice. That is easier. Oh God, how do I? There we go. Can I put it over here? Okay. Just gotta turn this down over here. All right. Good evening. All right. I just wanted to start a stream because I'm just making some sounds. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm just making some sounds. Also, I'm not gonna shave until the album comes out, which is April 9th. But I just wanted to know what it looks like if it grew out a little bit more. Or I just keep it growing until I get stopped when I come back to the US. If I have like a show in Europe or fly to Europe and I come back to the US and they like pull me into one of those interview rooms just because I've got like starting to get like a big beard and they think I'm some kind of fundamentalist. That's when I would shave. That'd be hilarious. All right. I've been making some kicks actually, because I was listening to Space Lace's Voltage Volume 4 again, and I was like, oh, those drums are so tasty in so many of the songs. And I've been like looking at the waveform of those kicks as well and trying to just like get to a similar result. And in the process, I've also found another nice technique that gives you some interesting rumble for kick drums or for whatever, if you want to try that out. Because that's actually pretty neat. I'm actually, screw it. We're just gonna load up some stereo white noise into one of these oscillators here. All right. So, the last sauce we have is the stream from 2023, and we need a 2026 update. Nice. Okay, so this is more, obviously there are some really cool tutorials at the moment. Recently there's this one guy, something Zion in his name or something. He did these YouTube videos on like really realistic snare synthesis and realistic kicks and cymbals, where it's like the result is supposed to sound like it's from like a real drum kit, like real acoustic snares and crash cymbals and stuff. Those videos are awesome. I recommend you watch those and check those out. He does it in Logic, and he creates some kind of feedback loop with the channels. You can do the same thing in Serum, in Ableton. I don't know if you can do it in FL, but those videos are awesome for real drums. We're gonna make weird electric drums, and you can use samples as the starting material. I'm just gonna go with a sine wave for now, but let's check this out. So we're just gonna get maximum pitch sweep here. So we get some kind of laser like that. And then I'm gonna load up an EQ so we can see where that lands in terms of frequency. Also, thank you, Ooga Booga, for $5. Hype for your set at Apocalypse in June. Got to go back to work, but I hope the stream goes well. Thank you so much. Have a good day at work. All right. So first setup should be a pitch envelope on a sine wave. We can open this up to edit this a little more detailed. So we can like do something like that. Gotta make my speakers a little louder. And usually I feel like there's 2 or 3 parts to this envelope. There's the initial zap for the transient, unless you're using some other additional samples for that. Then you've kind of got the chest, which is this, the and then you kind of have the fade out, which is like keeps going downwards. And then let's not have that on BPM, let's have that at hertz. So we can adjust the speed of that freely. At the same time, let's, first of all, yep, no random phase. And let's sustain this for a little bit, and then it just like fades out. Kind of something like that. We can always cut the kick afterwards. Okay, this is the most basic kick ever. Maybe I wanted to land like about there. We can like mess with how exponential or linear these curves are, so that's so far so good. But now, I've got some white noise over here. And let's use that to FM this sine wave. So if I just do that, we're starting to hear that. And if I now pitch this down, this noise, I might even want to filter it or something. Let me see if that works. Low pass. This is a really cool way to rumble. If you want to add rumble to a kick that you are making at the moment. Of course, this shouldn't be too long, too intense, I mean. But you could do some fun inverted stuff here, where for the start of the kick drum, there is no rumble, and then it slowly fades in. So so that's kind of neat. Just a random idea here. But the other way around makes a lot of sense too. So instead of the FM coming in later, it's just going to start with a lot of FM. Because if I turn this up, you hear how it like obviously becomes noisy. We get a lot of high end. And if that was there at the start of the kick, just for a really, really short moment, kind of like that, but even shorter. Even shorter. Then the noise is now creating this really short moment of intense, chaotic waveform right at the start of the kick, and we get a little bit of a different transient. Like it almost, I know it sounds still very electronic, but it sounds a little bit like a kick drum from a metal drum kit or something. In like a very, very electronic way. This could still go faster. So these are some fun parameters you can already play around with. If you don't like that attack, you could use a different starting position. But I actually kind of like that first one. Oh, Fathom. Hey, Val, nice bumping into you and Rob at Boogie T. Oh, hell yeah. My girlfriend said you were super nice. Oh, thank you. Oh, also, I'm getting a call. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, started the stream. We'll hit you later. Skadoosh. No, it wasn't Carmen. Cool. So far so good. We can make this a little more interesting with with some distortion. But I do want the kick at the end, like at the tail of the kick. I want it to be really, like really clean. Oh, also, everything's too quiet? Like overall, I can change that. Let me have a quick look here. Oh yeah, so my mic can definitely go up a little bit, and then I'm gonna bring this up a little bit too. How's it now? Just let me know in the chat. Make Ableton louder? Okay, because I wanted to be very careful since a lot of these kicks are really loud. Okay. Oh, also this kick is gonna get a lot louder. Let's just to calibrate the loudness, let's put a limiter on it. And then like this kick should get a lot. I'm gonna bring this back down. Because I feel like this is safe if it's gonna get about this loud. Is that okay? Hope that's not too much. That's good. Sweet. All right. So distortion. I mean, it's cool, yeah, but I want a clean kick. But I want it to sound even more interesting, like the attack. I wanted to have more character. So we could do a similar thing with like an envelope on the drive. So it starts very distorted, but then gets clean. So just the click, just the transient, gets some distortion. That's kind of cool for like a hard, kind of very, very crunchy kick. This is more of a curve downwards. Just get a little bit of drive at the start, then maybe soft clip the whole thing a little bit. Even because this is such a, like we only have these high frequencies right at the start, we could even use some of that sine distortion, which is usually very dangerous and like makes stuff sound super, super noisy. But for something as basic as this, it actually works really well. Let's put that envelope on there too. Just a little bit. So we get that top end. That's pretty neat. Maybe we could even have an EQ before the whole shebang. That takes out some 200 hertz and maybe a little bit of mids. Nice. Oh, also playing different keys obviously makes sense. Because it's going to sound a little bit different everywhere. So far, so good. We could do one more FM, maybe with the noise from over here. And also, let me see if this works. So let's FM or PD also sounds different. I would recommend to try them all out. So now we've got some crunch coming from the noise over here. And I wanted to see if I could put another, like this envelope also on the pitch here. I know at the end there it's very rumbly again, so let's put this envelope here as well. Now play with the positioning here. Maybe the starting position. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of getting there. Obviously, we can process this further a little bit with some saturation here. I'm just going to throw like a bunch of things on here, like roar as well. Let's make it a little more aggro. Let's have a look at this with an EQ one more time. Though the attack right now is kind of messy. I feel like I need a tighter envelope for these two cases over here. So let's have that be done by envelope 3 instead. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. And then just be like a lot snappier. There we go, that's better. The transient is back. Neat. And now we can like go back and mess with the pitch curve, the length, everything. So you got all these parameters kind of in place to now create a lot of variations of this. We could also, yes, sometimes for drums, disperser is kind of cool, though I don't know if I like it for this, but let's try it. Why not? Come on. It's just a disperser. Eh. Maybe just a little bit. This does give it more chest. The bing. But I don't want it to affect the initial hit, the initial transient, like too much. Can you soft clip? Or hard clip? No. Soft clip maybe. Neat. And then, so whenever I do these kind of sessions, I just have my Serum here, and then I have an audio track down here, and I just export these by just doing resampling, like. Cool. Those could be louder overall. It could be a little more sustained. And then after doing this, like there's this little gap here because of my EQs that I did in there. I might actually like go in and just cut that out. And then glue this back together, like that. So sometimes I go really in depth on editing kicks in audio like this before I export them as samples. Also, this ending here, like it gets kind of just like quieter before, like I would want it to be maybe this long, just as the sample, but it gets quieter here. This could be louder. This could be like normalized. So I just take this bit, make this louder until it's almost clipping, like around here. And then we can just fade that one as well into the rest. So it's all like just one big chunk. And now we can select the whole thing, Command J. Now it's one neat little thingy. And then we can export that like this real quick. I've already made some previous ones before I started streaming. This one was especially fun. I messed around with the pitch curve on this. This is the pitch curve, and it sounds like this. I really like that one. This one's kind of nice and clean. Oh yeah, right. The saturator could also help with some color, something like that. That's kind of neat. There's a little too much going on here somewhere. Maybe this feels kind of nicer. Oh no, my vape died. Oh, what am I gonna do? Backup vape. All right. And then I'm usually just sitting here. Oh, it's kind of ignorant. Just trying out different notes. It's kind of an ignorant kick. I kind of like it. Let's save that one too. Oh, we're still not at maximum volume as we could be, so maybe limiter at the end. I'm just gonna go harder into the limiter. Yep. Also, totally valid to use some transient shapers. It's especially fun if you kind of have that kick and then you like this whole kick already. If I were to export this, like let's do this one more time. Whoops. Only record here, please. Like this is pretty chunky. It's pretty much as loud as it could possibly be, but sometimes, especially if the transient isn't exactly what you had hoped for, or it's not strong enough. Let me see. First of all, can we? Kinda, yeah. But you could run this through a transient shaper again, which obviously is going to make it clip a lot, but then just put a clipper afterwards. So only the transient that you push with the transient shaper will go into the clipper, and then that's kind of nice. very juicy. Kind of like that clonk at the start. So now that we got that, I should probably do this. Because I want to bounce that in place. Bounce track. And this is our new kick. With a very strong transient, but I kind of like it. And then, yeah, what's with this mess here? That's a bit messy. Could have probably done better initially, but let's try this. Oh, if you fade them, kind of fade them together. Maybe this whole section can also be a little louder. Tiny bit of clipping on that one moment there is fine. Fade you together here. That is a strong kick. Consolidate that one more time. This is a little freaky here, that movement, but that's okay. I'm gonna save that. And then they just go here. HK for hard kicks. And I just like go up in numbers while I make those. Did I save this one? I'm gonna save that one. Just in case I have not. And then back to Serum. And more editing over here. Where did that unk come from? Oh, it was because of this. Gub. Also, depending on how long this initial downwards curve here is. Like if it becomes longer, we get more of a laser zap. Oh, that's nice. I like that one. I feel like, yeah, it's just about finding these like sweet spots. Kind of like that one. And I want this one without disperser. Maybe more drive? Maybe. I'm gonna make two versions of this one. Just gonna record over here again. Oh, that's good. That looks nice. And one with the EQ cut. I think it's that EQ cut that creates the little dip there in the waveform. Oh, actually, no, pretty good. These are nice. Oh, hey, Evoke. What are your thoughts on EchoBoat VST? I have used it before. It's doing all the pitching in the second drop of Hysteria. I like it. It's like a good frequency shifter with feedback, and the smear is really nice. All right, so that's a very long tail. In a song, like if I used these samples, these kick samples in a song later, I would probably not have them be this long, but I just in case someone needs them that long, I just export them like that. In a dubstep track, this would probably look like this, or like pretty short. Can we? This looks like a Space Laces kick now. That's kind of nice. That's kind of what I was going for. This one's a little messier. This one's closer. This one's kind of goes into the right direction. Yeah, before I ruin them by doing more to them, I'm just gonna export those. Love you well. Looking forward to you coming to Denmark. I've never played in Denmark. That would be sick. Hello, Hyperlunion. Cool. Can we get another one of the same quality out of this? So this EQ was really important. I feel like that pitch downwards bit here could be a little bit longer. Like it. Just a little more chest. If I make the whole thing slower, then also the attack's gonna get longer. kind of a wooden conky. I do like the short little click. Let's try different positions. Oh. There was a good one here. I think you played a Viperactive Poison rhythm edit? No. I did play like a live edit of our collab, the What You Got. It has like a little thing at the end. Yeah, that's another, the conk, the chest kick terminology. Also golf ball kick if it has too much, like this one actually, it's actually pretty fine. But if it has too much and it just becomes sounding too plasticky, then it's a golf ball kick. Like the key of these kicks doesn't really matter because at least for me and how I would use them, because I would end up using them in this in a pretty short way like this, and it like the sub here just goes down, just and then it fades out. It's not really landing on a note. While I'm working on it, this long one, obviously once this LFO is over, it like lands on a certain note. But try out different pitches, because the entire kick and the attack is going to sound different too. I think actually the C sharp one is not bad. Currently I've been hitting an E. Like I like the attack of that. This goes in the right direction. Ah. Might have to shorten this again here. A little bit better. Not too bright. Just a tiny change. Hi, Basti. Just a tiny change is gonna change it so much, at least in my ears. That one's not too bad. Maybe needs a little more of this, like, a little more of that zap. This is good. This goes in the right direction. Nah, I don't want the laser. I want it to be clean. Let's export that one and have a look. Not too bad. And then again, if I were to use this would probably be about this long. Like this long. That sounds pretty nice. Also very happy with that one. But I do export it in like longer, because you can always shorten it, but it's harder to make it longer. Oh yeah, Afrojack. Me and Nick worked on a thing a couple of weeks ago when he came through Minneapolis, and he played it at Ultra Miami yesterday. Super sick. That's very cool to see. All right, let's export that one too. And then once you have a couple in like the same realm, we can get like a little more crazy. No, I'm not in Miami right now. I'm in Minneapolis. This mid cut is really important, it seems like. Oh yeah, if we do stuff like this before the distortion, it becomes a little more hard-styly. Kind of fun. But I like being a little more crazy with the pitch envelope, actually. F. Chopin, $5. Thank you so much. Random question. Do you know how to speak Japanese? I noticed in some of your songs there's some Japanese related words. Was just curious. I can order food and stuff like Odenji dus elsaizo of tatsu onegaishimasu. That's that's pretty much it. That's all I got. Nihongo ga wakarimasen. Sumimasen. I can say sorry, I can't speak Japanese, and I can order food. All right. Now we can get crazy with the envelope, the pitch envelope especially. That's a kick. That's an interesting kick. Pew. Of course, that attack is very... Should it be more distorted? Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Let's just save that one for later. You go over here. Ooh. Aiming like close to that resonance, to that where that frequency that the sine wave is pausing on for a moment, gives us a little more interesting drive. Kind of like that. I wonder if, for this to work though, in the context of a song, I wonder if it still needs like a under this, like a sine wave that goes all the way down. Screw it, let's try it. Let's do two at the same time. What else are we here for, if not to break new sonic ground? So I'm just gonna do the same thing over here. You're at +3 and then +2. You're gonna get this on envelope mode. And you're just gonna be a regular kick. Like, boom. Interesting. Also would need this one to stop sooner. Like this one just has to be really, really short. So it's gotta like do why? Oh, that's the wrong one. Envelope. What the? Oh. That's why. Yeah, kind of a Cocker-ish kick now. Oh. Oh, I like that. That's cool. Okay, the little bit of FM from the noise just right at the start, and then it becomes clean again. Could be awesome. Probably this might need it longer. This might need its own thing. Let's go. Now it just became kind of like a white noise. That's kind of cool too. The initial click is still too clicky. Is that because of this? Yeah, partially. Better. That's kind of cool. I have not bounced a version of this in like since the start. Except for we have that initial beep kick. I don't wanna. That's why sometimes you can just run the like record the entire time while you're working on it, just so that if you accidentally like find a sweet spot and then it's gone again and you don't know where exactly it was, then you can like at least you've recorded it. $10. You're crazy. Also very excited to go back to Chicago to see you live. You're one of my top 3 favorite artists. I'm obsessed with your songs. Just top 3 in this order. You, then Louis the Child, and Owl City. Ah, I can totally see that. That works together really well. Unicorn Kid used to open for Owl City on one of their tours, and that's a big inspiration for me. And it makes a lot of sense musically. That's awesome. Thank you. Can you do that for an hour and not go ear blind to the actual progress? It's kind of true. You gotta be, yeah. You sometimes have to, like, if you're aiming to make certain type of kicks, sometimes you need to go back and listen to a good one from a sample pack or something, just as a reference. And also, while you are doing this, you'll keep exporting more and more results. The first 10 are probably going to be not good, and then it gets better. And then at some point, it's like diminishing returns and gets bad again because you've been doing it for too long. I oversampled. Ah, this is fun. Yeah, I want that one too. That one's really nice as well. All the initial transients of all of these are a little weird. So maybe they need to be replaced later with kicks from somewhere else, like other kick transients. Premiere Pro screenshot is the thumbnail. Nice, you noticed. Can you remake the synth of Duro by Skrill? I think that's a saw wave with glide and reverb. So pretty, like you can get there. Okay, so that one was cool. Oh yeah, this was too much, not too much FM, but this was a lot of FM. And I did want to, where are you, this one? Yeah, I wanted one of those as well. Oh, this really matters. That could almost become a snare. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of like that. Let me export that one more time so we don't lose stuff. I wonder if, yeah, someone said add a comb filter. I don't know if it would have to probably be before all of this distortion and everything. I feel like that's gonna maybe ruin stuff, but it's worth a try. Just get... Yeah. Drive. Then we could make a stereo. This is pretty aggro. I do want to... Oh, hi, Ray3. Yeah, screw it. Okay, I'll export that one too. Just so we have that. But I wanted one that has a little more tonality, real quick. Like that. And also, can we... Let me just do this. Like, I kind of want to turn this into a snare later. And I think... Can you be brighter? Yeah. Oh god. Cool zap. What are you controlling? Oh, just the chorus pitch. Of course. Oh god. That, maybe this. It's now just a little too driven somewhere. Probably here. And then I kind of want to boost 1000 kilohertz. And nope. Maybe I need to do that after, because I need some... Oh god, this is getting really messy. But I must see this through. Okay. It's just because there's so much more distortion coming after this. Okay, well, we're gonna do that at the end. Gonna make that one chill out. Get an EQ. Oh, you're already here. Good. Kind of like that. I know. I know. This is just ouch. But this is for science. Whoop. Oh, it's because this is pitched so low. Okay, that makes sense. Oop. I just want more noise. But not that. Maybe if this was back on FM. Okay, this is fine. Okay, I'll stop here now. Otherwise, you just have to listen to this all the time. I just need that distorted noise for a snare later. Let's export these real quick. And just have a look if they're all good everywhere. That was the clean one. $15. I can share these later as well with you on my Patreon, maybe. I really like that. 16. That one's called 2. 17. 18. In the first stream uploaded to your channel, the first 5 minutes has a few really cool basses. I would love to see a big breakdown. The first stream ever? Or the first stream that I've uploaded? Oh, that must have been a while ago. Have you ever collabed with AU5? Yeah, I do want to. We kind of have talked about it, yes, and I need to get back to him, and we need to make that finally a thing. Aaron Dubstep Music. Hey VR, thank you for having a chat with me at Blacklist. Oh. When who are you? That's so cool. Hope to see you with me right again. Made my year. Sorry again for my hand on your shoulder. Oh, okay. Now I remember. Yeah, this one's a bit too much, but I'll save it anyway. This is 18B. Greetings from Mexico. Greetings back. Oh, hi Nebula. Ba-bam. And then this one is not a kick anymore at all. It's just noise, but this is useful noise. All right. We've made kicks and strange ones too. Maybe one more normal one. Oh, that one's nice. That's pretty nice. Can we give you the... Yeah? Little clicky, is it? Do we need the spiff? It does not need the spiff. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, this is probably very boring for some people, but I like doing this a lot. Clonk. Oh, you're getting modulated. Where are you going? You're going over here. What if you were FM? A lot different. Shorter, please. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Can we mix you in? Just like a little bit of that for stereo-ness. That's cool. A little bit of noise, stereo noise on that kick as well. Oh, okay, that's better. I like that. I wish that was louder. Can we normalize you? That's cool. $10, Jesus Christ. From Waves. I bought a jacket years ago from someone I'm not sure we should speak of. It says Cry Clothing and Kiss React Tokyo on the back. Had a sticker in the pocket. Where in Tokyo so I can order more, please? Oh yeah, that was a pop-up on Takeshi Tadori, like on the side if you go off the main street. It was like a room with 5-6 tables with like individual merchants, and they just had like each of them had like a clothing rack, and they were just selling their own stuff. And I have no idea, but yeah, just maybe Google it. I still have some stuff from there as well, but yeah, I think I lost some of my clothing in that process. I like the k. This is nice. You get saved. Make it kind of like this. Oh, imagine trying to give VR production advice. You can always give me production advice. This is a fun one. I like this one. 20. And then maybe we can get into snares as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to, at this point now, I want to see if we can make these a little weirder as well. Could probably, like, if this noise is going out as well, we could have you instead, you go none, you go to bus 1, and then in the effects, bus 1 gets an EQ, and then some distortion, just for that noise. So we can... But that needs to come in slowly, kind of. Like, that shouldn't be right at the start, because otherwise that's going to mess with the transient. So actually, just the output volume here. Oh, danger. Just want that to kind of like that. But more like... yeah-ish. Yeah, maybe. Overall a bit loud. That's kind of nice. Oh, parallel reverb mix. That's also pretty fun. I'm probably gonna butcher this kick. Let me export this one first. I don't lose that for later. You could probably do this in Serum as well, but because I've got all these distortions set up here on main, I'm not gonna mess with that too much. But if you already have like one of these kicks here, then you can do some bonus stuff to them. Where maybe something like this. This one's kind of clean and nice. We could run that through some reverb in parallel. Like on 100% wet. Let's leave some low end intact. Doesn't really matter how long this is going to be, like how long the reverb's going to be, because we're going to put a gate after it. And then this gate gets sidechain input from just the dry kick. So that's audio 8. Should have a filter because of the sub. So now, over here you can control the length of that additional reverb. Got that as well. And now we can mess with that reverb. We could distort it and compress it and distort it some more. And then also EQ it. You can see how, yeah. Let's do that before the distortion here. EQ you some more. Yeah, after the gain. And now this entire thing, group this, parallel. Maybe this needs some attack. Needs a limiter at the end again. And obviously that's very stereo wide, it doesn't have to be. Could just be mono. Maybe somewhere in the middle. And then we could also, just to make it sound even darker, frequency shift that. All kinds of fun ways to like layer kicks with additional stuff. Love your new plugin. Oh, thank you. I just listen to your polyrhythm track on a regular basis. Thank you. Maybe a little more release could be fun. But yeah, you get the idea. And add some low, messy, rumbly layer with that too. That's kind of cool. Distort even more. More. Yeah, you get the idea. Could probably, let me think. I kind of like that. Could that be turned into a kick again? Just that messy noise. Ah, it should be a little bit stereo, just the slightest bit. Yeah, kind of like that. This could probably turn into a burial kick from here. So then if we took that and we stabbed it with this. Yeah. Getting better. I do like the dirt. Maybe not this. I like how dirty it is though, kinda. Could you be pitched down? That sounds fun. That's good for like a heavier type drop. I also, so obviously we have Stab. People know Stab, the 4-band transient shaper. Last thing you hear before the police arrive. Yes. FBI, open up. I made myself a rack that is the same thing, but with Transient Master from Native Instruments. So it's using ozone imagers to frequency split. And then these are all the attacks and the decay, the sustains of those Transient Masters. Because with Stab, you can't really like boost the sustain that drastically. But with these you can, so you can like, I know that was very messy, but you get the idea. You can like lengthen certain bits in the low end, or now that kind of starts to sound like a faraway explosion of some kind. And this is kind of getting. I like this in general to have for later, so I'm just gonna export that, and then I'm gonna export this. That's 21B. Yeah, I like it with that, with a little more high end, with that tail, the kind of crunchy tail. Yeah, one more export like this. 21C. Very nice. That could be cool to layer with other stuff too. So here are the results so far. Always starts with like some meh ones. Let me get into the weird territory. Nice. So that's pretty fun. Haha. Thank you for the tip with the reverb. That ended us up with this really cool, like, fucking warehousey industrial kick. Back to, oh, I haven't exported these yet. I want to forget about them. Wait, no, that was that one, but the dry one, right? Yeah, that's not in here. Gonna need those too. And then we're gonna go into like some interesting glitch sound design. 22. Did I save these? I don't think I did. And even if I did, better to have duplicates than to lose them. So yep, 24. That's a good amount of kicks. Might not have saved this one either. Or I mean, you're edited. Let's get you anyway. There's this specific character you hear in the sounds, no matter what it is. Yeah, it's like the white noise of emming the sine wave just kind of creates this interesting distortion. It's like messy, rumbly kind of thing if it's doing it for over a long time. Let's delete that. We can also make, like, with white noise, you can make all kinds of stuff. Like you can make kick drums out of white noise, sort of. That's kind of what we just did with the reverb tail, because it's just such a messy amount of. But you can also make cool snares with that, because I did this last night a little bit. This is just white noise in Serum with some bandpass filter, distortion, and sometimes a little bit of reverb. And then these are like clap samples that just went through the same processing, basically. Hehe. Oh, hi Underbelly. Yo, the craziest thing happened, by the way, with me and Underbelly, where when I played in Portland, I didn't know he's from Portland, or that he lives there. And right before the show, we brought lasers to the show, so we had Hunter, our laser operator, with us. We were in the green room, and we were talking about like metal, emo, rock kind of stuff, fusing with dubstep and like good examples. So I showed him some Underbelly tunes like right before the set started, and then when I was finished playing, I look into the crowd and he's just there. He's just like looking at me, and I'm like, we summoned you. Yeah, I had no idea. That was awesome. I love those moments. Oh no, the Red Bull is empty. I have watched Zion James Symbols tutorial, yes, and I've made some as well with sort of that method. I did a little bit of my own stuff at some point, but let me see. Are they some of those new snares? Where did I put them? I think they're in 2025. Oh, got the mess. Where did I put them? Fake drums. Yes, crash. Like some of them are good. That one sounds pretty good. Also made hats with the same method. Made some real kicks, also with his kick drum method. Oh yeah, sorry, the screen thing again. But yeah, these kicks, these hats, and these crashes are like from the Zion James tutorials that I tried to like do those. These are fake claps from Faceplant. And it's a patch that just makes random ones every time you hit it. These were weird results from the hi-hat session. Here we have some of those. Yeah, these kicks are actually really nice. And with a little bit of like saturation, a little bit of drive, you can get them towards this. And they kind of like, I love the all is fair, no, the all I ask of you kick. And these, like the attack of these fake real ones kind of goes into the right direction. Like towards that kind of style. So that, I really like that. These are other people's samples. Just for some experiments. 1 second. I'm gonna just grab a Red Bull. 10 seconds. Ah, that was 12. That was not 10 seconds, sorry. I lied. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do some more fun stuff real quick with drums and then into glitch mode. For this, actually, Faceplant is perfect. Because I had this idea. What if I had like a cool little, like I wanted to synthesize stadium claps, like a really big crowd clapping. And how do? So my idea was initially for the claps, I'm going to use white noise through like a bandpass filter. That would be like at 1K or something. Kind of like that. And then I would have an envelope doing the like that. On the volume probably. Kind of like that. Super simple. Simplest clap in the world. But then the idea was that this envelope here has a delay at the start. So I can delay, if I do this multiple times, I could delay some claps to be later or earlier. Like let's say I pick, this goes up to 1 second, let's say I pick 500 milliseconds as the center. And then I do this like 4 or 5 times. But every time I hit a key, I want this to be randomized so that it's maybe a little before the 500 mark or a little after the 500 mark. But the further it goes away from the 500 milliseconds delay time, the quieter it's gonna get too. So that like the claps before 500 milliseconds are like getting progressively quieter and the other ones are getting progressively like quieter on the other end. And obviously all of them get like slight variation in this. And also maybe some other variations in like loudness, that the claps that are like the further the spray basically is, the further out they are, the quieter they are, etc., etc. The shorter maybe as well. So I built something like that. Crowd clap. And this is doing the distribution, these two things. And I got this 3 times. And then, let me turn the unison off for now. Oh, the panning is also randomized. So this is happening 3 times now. I'm doing it with the envelope here, but you can see delay is like set here. And all of this stuff gets randomized. There's some processing here a little bit, like some slight reverb. And you can see the bandpass filters move around randomly. The resonance also gets a little randomized. The noise slope and the pan. Yeah, and they should be getting quieter. Is there like, is this linked to level? Oh, yeah, there's a mistake in here too. This is all the stuff for that. 50 from 0 to 100. Okay, I gotta change this. Because this controls everything up here, so it should also control that. And in return, you control the second oscillator, then you should also be in charge of the volume of the second oscillator. Between 0 and 100. Oh, you gotta be on 50. There we go. So that is, what is this doing? Oh, the overall brightness, I see. But this is just 3 claps, 3 white noise hits. So if we use the global unison, then we get 24. We could be even more extreme with this penalty of if the clap is further out, the further it's sprayed, the quieter it gets. That's kind of nice. Very ASMR-y. Let me save this one as well, like just update that one since I had fixed that mistake. And then there's some variations on this. Here I added like a little bit of reverb. Oh, they also get brighter, I think, over time. Or it's doing something. Should be this way. Nice. So now if I play like 8 notes at the same time, first of all, my CPU spikes to 70%, but also we get kind of a crowd clap. The spread should be higher, I feel like. Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. And that's how I made the, made all these. And then this is just a bunch of them layered afterwards. Yeah, this muffles the highs. This basically makes the, this is linked to the slope of the noises. So if this is all the way here, it's like there's a low pass on them. And then this direction is brighter. But then my idea was that it also like gets brighter towards the center of the claps. Could do the other way around too. But that doesn't sound so realistic. Hehe. So this just on the side, cool little way to make claps. If you want to do that in Serum, something similar, probably can't do exactly that same thing. Maybe if you load some white noise in each of these oscillators as well, but you can make fun claps in here too. Usually the classic is just you have an LFO with like a shape like this. And then that goes on the volume. And then that just happens really quickly, like that. And then you just really want a high pass or a band pass that resonates at around 1K, like that. Kind of like that. Pink noise is a little nicer. Val, do you ever use analog synths on stuff these days? I don't have any setup here currently in my current studio setup, but especially I was doing like when I was doing some video gamey stuff. I ended up using my Polybrute quite a lot because I feel like as soon as it becomes like stuff for movies or video games or something like that, it's more like all my contact libraries finally get some use, and less artificial of a sound is kind of what I want. And then those analog synths are really nice for that. But yeah, cheap clap. But what I've kind of learned from my... Oh, have you tried making the Space Lasers Teflon King snare? How would you go about that? Oh, I'm gonna listen to that. I forgot what that one sounds like. What did I want to say? What I really liked about the analog stuff, like for example the polybrute that I have, is that when I just turn it on, it's kind of out of tune, and every time I play a note, the pitch is slightly different. Like, these are all perfectly in tune, but if we take the fine tune and just do like a little bit of note on randomness on it, like that, that's kind of cool. You get like a little like chorus, little drift, a little bit of detune between these things, and then the polybrute also can like pan all the oscillators left and right and like a little chaotically, so we could also have a note on random on the panning. And then if you combine that with just a little bit of delay and reverb and maybe a soft low pass. And to convince people that it is an analog synth and not Serum, you just maybe boost the lows a bit, like that. Oh, and of course, again, the FM from noise comes in really handy here too. And get some white noise and FM from that. Boop, boop. It gets really dirty. If we don't want it that noisy, could either like do like a little bit and it's very filtered like that. That's kind of nice. The panning's a little extreme. And if you want more of an even thing happening, you could either like note on alternate, so it just goes left, right, left, right, left, right, or voice mod 1 or 2. This is actually kind of useful for. So you see this over here in the global section. There's mod 1 and mod 2. So if I go here and I do like left, center, right, left, center, right, center, left, center, right. Or maybe like this. This seems more symmetrical. Kind of like that. So you can like control this step thingy here. Also, it doesn't need to be 8 steps. You can make this shorter, but that's kind of neat. Oh yeah, if we do it like this, it could be left, center, right, center. That's kind of nice. Oh. Yeah. So that's what that is kind of useful for. I like that. Ooh, sine wave with FM noise. That's kind of cool. I'm just experimenting for a second here. Might be a little much, but I do like the instability it gets. I don't know if stereoing the noise changes something. That's a good question. Let's take these effects off for a second. Doesn't seem to. But it might if I do 2 voices. Yeah. Yeah. You also need two unison voices over here. Then that has an effect. Good question. I also wasn't sure. That's kind of neat. Yeah, got a little buzzy there. All right. Let's finally go to some weird glitchy stuff. So I've been experimenting, and like I like this to do this sometimes just because it gets some cool results without a lot of work, and then I just organize them in a folder later. But I've been playing around with Absynth 6 a little bit. Not really making patches in it. This is kind of like the interface is still, it looks better now, but it's still the same setup and it's very chaotic. But what I would do in here would be I'd load up a preset. Cool, it's a harp. And then the main thing here is the mutator down here, where you can like, you got mutation amount and random amount, and then you can just go ahead and randomize this patch. And you get like a history over here, so you can always go back. You can retry. You can also turn things on and off over here. You have some macros. Yeah, it looks a little bit like that XLN XO with the map. But obviously we also need some processing here. So that by itself is nice, but I also want to run this through a bunch of stuff, maybe even a fat rack. Maybe this one. And I don't want to make it too loud for you all, but it might be like sometimes because it's like random, some of the results might end up being kind of quiet. And some might be really loud. So it's a little dangerous. I'm just gonna have the overall master volume maybe down a little bit. Just in case. Well, that's pretty good. Then we got a little bit of dry. Don't want buzz. Do want this to be like pretty crunched. That's gonna give us some additional gain. And then, especially for like weird glitchy stuff, I would like play like super low notes. Oh, that one doesn't work because it's got that super intense comb filter on it. Oh boy. Ow. We might need even more compression. Maybe we need the flatline thing. That just makes it really loud. And then a reduce ambience behind that. Oh, right, 3. Yeah, you do $10. You crazy. For glitches, I think you'll find this interesting. Put a KHS pitch shifter, grain size max, correlate compensation off, then duplicate like 10 times. Then limit an HPF. Ooh, I did that recently with like with a bunch of pitch shifters like that, and then it would always be like the first pitch shifter would go up, and then the next one would go down the same amount, and then repeat that over and over, so that it like that it would like stay the same pitch basically, but it just degrades the sound quality. Ooh. That's kind of cool and dark. I do want a little more drive here too, like initially. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So then at this point, if that effects chain is kind of in place, I'm gonna just make an audio track down here and just hit record while I mess with the plugin. And it'll just record everything that's coming out. Still very quiet, I'm surprised. But it might explode later, so please be prepared for a sudden volume spike. Oh god, there's some resonator in there that just makes this really long. Ooh. Have you tried a data mine concatenator? Yes. That thing's really cool. Ooh. Some really dark rumble. Jesus. What is creating that reverb? Is it this? Yeah, we can turn that off. Sometimes it might, the random might turn it back on again. Yeah, I'm mostly trying to look for some good crunch effects. Oh, sheesh! Jesus Christ. That's kind of cool. Not a cool initial transients, but then it kind of like... Oh. Oh no, I'm sorry for your cat, Alessira. How old did it get? Ooh. Yes. Yes, that's what I like. Nice. We need a little more input volume. Getting some Annihilation vibes. Ooh. Damn. Yeah, I want to get some more cool. I wonder if. Nice. Okay, it was that multicom that was doing the delay, so now we can also get some results without constant delay. Those might be a little more useful. Yo. It does sound a little bit like the alien from Annihilation. Ooh, shipped from Peru. Greetings to Peru, thank you. Amunion? I need some higher ones too. What if I play two notes at the same time that are really close together? Yes, that kind of works. Or a fifth. Ooh. It's kind of demonic. Yeah, a little Billane-ish. All right, that's a good amount of stuff. I wonder if there's a different effect that could be good for this. Like, what's... Oh yeah, now we got stereo width. Play a minor chord. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, I think this is a new effect. I don't know if this was part of the original Absynth. But this is kind of like a spectral delay type thing. I'm just gonna like make a couple more. In case I need them for later. Let's do another low one. Okay. All right. I got a lot out of that. Now we're just good. We'll just continue. Next one. Maybe it'll find some good variations on this one as well. Ooh. No, we're not saving. It's part of the philosophy of this. No. You gotta be okay with it. It's part of the glitch design philosophy for me. You don't get to save. You only get to resample. Okay, it's a little more messy now. Previously it was a little more... I mean, it's still here. It's the 45 one. Ooh. Oh, nice. There's some good crunch. Can we just go even harder on some compression? But I don't want to OTT it. Actually, I've made a little preset in the M Dynamics MB. Should I just put you after everything? Yeah, why not? Or actually the over-under should do the job. Sorry, volume. Yeah, it's gonna get louder. Yeah. Oh! This is creepy. And sometimes it's just low rumble, which is also fine. Oh my god. Can we turn the aetherizer back on for stereo? And then what if you, like, I mean, there's feedback here. What do you do? Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's kind of like a reverb-ish thing. But if I recall correctly, you can do things here, like filter and then bandpass, resonance. You hear that like weird glitchy stuff? You can filter quantize to like minor seventh. And then if we have more resonance, this thing can color, by the way. Don't know if you knew that. So that's kind of fun. But also, yeah, some really strange noises too. I kind of want to get rid of the reduce ambience, because I think we could get a little more high end. Or no, this wasn't the one. Was it this? Oh no, it was messing with this, right? Fun. Let's turn that back off and go back to more randomization. I should continue recording. Ooh. Wow. Sheesh. Why so wide? I mean, I'm not mad at it. I turned the thing off. That's cool though. Oh my god. Oh, that would probably also really profit from a vocoder of some sort. Like I got the AU5 vocoder rack here. Then this is just gonna need more tilt. Do we need a little bit of buzz? I wish there was a softer way to do that. I'm just gonna try my best. Like boosting a little bit here. Yeah. I just want a little bit more high-end. That's cool. I was getting some cool glitches with the vocoder Spectral warp in Serum 2 with drum loops being modded by snares and whatnot. What the hell? The vocoder warp is OP. Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. I gotta try that. Thank you also for the $5. Thank you, Senro. Put the buzz at 1. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's fine. I'll leave it like this. Like if once I'm exporting these, I can later still like add buzz after the fact. But this is pretty fun. Some fucking monster sounds. Oh, I shouldn't swear on the stream, otherwise it gets demonetized. But this is just creepy. Okay, continue. Yep, sounds of pain. No, let's keep going. Ah. Ooh, there's some of that crunch I'm looking for. Without the vocoder? Yeah, those I need cleaner. So vocoder is off for now for that one. Yeah, can we make this a little smaller? There we go. There's still a little bit of that vibo boom coming through sometimes, which is nice. Oh, there's no distortion. Let's turn that up. Bass. It just turns into lots of clicks. Yeah, it might be useful. Play a really high note. Oh god, why does it sound like a cursed Furby? Let's keep on mutating. Can we return to slightly more normal territory? Yes. Kind of became a normal synth sound again. No, I don't want that delay. Okay, it doesn't matter what pitch I'm playing, it just does this rhythm. Okay. Yeah. Eventually, after just kind of like, now it's just a note again. Like eventually, I have enough of this, and then I just find a different starting preset. Oh, okay, that preset by itself is kind of cool. Can I get it without the delay? Nice. It's like kind of like a clean version. That's cool. And then we just start mutating from this one again. Yeah, sometimes it explodes. Oh, that's creepy. That sounds like a laugh. That is very creepy. So, I've done this before, by the way. In like a couple of different sessions. Now we have our like big recording here. So it's obviously a lot of work to go and be like, this from here to here, export that, and then name it and save and so on, and do that for like, I mean, I wouldn't do it for everything, but only for the parts that I like. But there's an easy way if you are using Ableton. Other DAWs might have different ways that make this easy for you, which is, I would just, I mean, first of all, we could normalize this, but I just want to show you real quick. You just like select this and then do Command J. So now it's been like consolidated into this little file, right? And I do the same thing here again and just do Command J, bam, and just go through and do that to everything that I want to export as an individual sample. And once I'm done, I'm just going to do this to like this one as well. Boom. You find it under current project, samples, processed, consolidate. Oh, they're normalized too. Perfect. That's nice. I'm gonna save this as Absinthe 6 stream session. So I messed around with this, that exact method, and these were some of the fun results that I got last time. it likes to do that kind of sound, especially. I don't know why. It sometimes just ends up there. Some anger. Some kind of basses. Those are usually fine, but the crunch was really good that came out of this. And just sprinkling that in the right places in a drop before a kick or a snare or something is real nice. Very crunchy. These are some weirder ones. The glitch stabs were a little aggressive. And then we also have that spectral thing I showed earlier. But these are really cool as like little shots, little fills. So I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna export these later because you don't want to watch me do that. That's just boring. Will once you made on stream be available on Patreon? Yeah, I'm gonna put the kicks that I made and the claps. I'm gonna put those on Patreon after the stream. Like the where is it? All those kicks. And those are pretty fun too. And then if I get to organize this and sort this, then I will put those up there as well. I will hand those to you. What studio monitors do you have now? I have well, I still have my Genelecs, but I'm currently using these IK Multimedia iLoud MK2. They're pretty small and they sound pretty good. I'm very surprised. And they're also somewhat travel size. Like you could put them in a small suitcase and take them with you, which I do sometimes if I am on a longer trip and I need to work. But that is kind of nice. I do want to watch that. How do you go from temporary samples to saved? Oh, I would just like once I consolidate stuff in here, I would just go to project samples processed, consolidated, and then I just rename them. Or first of all, I drag them, like you can drag them out somewhere else, or you could just go here, show in Finder, and then I drag them out from here, and maybe I'll make like some kind of folder structure that just starts to become a thing as I'm exporting, like how I did it here. There's like these different categories, and then like these just start to come into place when I'm like, okay, now there's like 10 sounds that all sound kind of like dark or crunchy or aggressive or spectral, and then, okay, now I'm gonna make a spectral folder for those. Oh, sorry, yeah, screen. Did it again. Go like here. This is where they are temporarily saved. Samples, consolidate, right-click, show in Finder. And there they are. Don't know why these are in this temporary thing right now. Strange. But yeah, I'll just drag them out, make a new folder structure, and then that stuff just happens over time. As you start naming them, you'll figure out, oh, some of them, like 10 of these sound very spectral. Start making a spectral folder, etc., etc. Oh, Party Poison, $5. Thank you so much. Gnarly sound design session. New Ableton user. What are your settings for automatically disabling warp on imported samples? Let me see. I think there's like, oops, there's like settings over here, right? Record warp launch. Yeah, here, warps and fades in the settings on a record warp and launch. You can say loop/warp short samples. Nope. Unwarped one shot. Default warp mode. Complex. That's like for longer ones, I guess. I think you can't turn off in here, maybe with the config file or something, that long samples get warped automatically. Have you tried Grainferno? Yes, it is actually even has some presets of mine in it. Oh, I still have the old version, like the beta, because I made some presets for it. But Grain Fern is really nice. So this granular synth from Baby Audio. Nope, that's still Absinthe. I did make some patches for this. Like you can make some really cool chaotic stuff with this as well. So that's pretty cool, but also you can make very pretty pads. I think this Crystal Waves one is pretty nice. Is it that one? Yeah, I made like a couple nice ones for this. Like this kind of sounds almost like there's flutes involved, but definitely not. Okay, I gotta check my phone real quick, because I got a text from Rob. I'm cool with anything. Oh, good. Rob was just asking what we should do for dinner today. I would love to make sound effects for a movie. Absolutely. Like I did a little bit for a video game that didn't make it because they didn't get the investors that they needed. So the video game kind of got put on ice for a moment. I think it still is, but I can show you some of the project files from this. Because especially the main menu or the main theme is really beautiful. That is a big project file for Ableton, 31 megabytes. What is going on there? Very much. I guess this is the final menu music. Yeah, let's have a look at that. How much storage do you have? 8 terabytes, and I'm running out because I also have lots of video files and visuals and stuff on the laptop. So it gets full. I did get an M5. I am currently like moving all my stuff over there, and I'm trying to be a little more organized on the new laptop. I'm still streaming from the old one. I'm trying to be a little more organized and only like install the plugins I actually need. Why always laptop? Because always travel. I think this is the one. Let's hope that the computer is going to be able to handle this. Because everything is in the samples group. It's just that, nothing else. Let me close these groups. This is so yellow. It's very yellow. I'm gonna make you all a little smaller. Yeah, there we go. Let's check this out. So here I did use a lot of analog stuff. There's a lot of samples and stuff I recorded from my analog synth. These are recordings from the Polybrute. I hope all the contact libraries work. I feel like there might be one or two things might not be playing. I remembered it being a little fuller. This was a Hades style dungeon crawler, I think, but kind of a dreamlike vibe to the whole thing. Oh, and here I started using the these like sample instruments that I made that you can also get on my Patreon, where I like recorded like a nylon guitar harmonics or a salad bowl. It's just all samplers. But it's a lot of samples for a salad bowl in lots of different velocities, and then lots of round robin. So it always sounds a little different. Even if you play the same note over and over, you don't get that sample repetition effect. Like I'm playing the same note over and over right now on this, or over here. And it always sounds a little different. And also it can stereo double immediately, so it'll just play sample 1 on the left, sample 2 on the right, and then on the next note it'll play sample 3 on the left, sample 4 on the right, so you get round robin with stereo. Let's just doing that down here. Yeah, I'm trying to. Tommy Rebuffy says, the game is like a dreamlike dungeon crawler. I don't want to say too much in case they wanted to keep it secret if they're still working on it. Salad bowl for the next preset pack, please. I totally want to do that. I'm trying to figure out a way. Maybe you have some idea and you can help me here to do that in Serum, because I can make a sound font with the samples and put that into Serum in like the multi-sample oscillator, but I don't get round robins. I could do 3 round robins maybe by putting like different sound fonts with different samples into all 3 oscillators, and then have like the voice mods or something control that it like randomly switches between them. These instrument racks are on Patreon, yes. I forgot what I called them. I think they're in the Ableton Racks 2025. There's the effect racks, and then there's synths and instruments. And this is what they look like. So you have like a cereal bowl, for example, and if you load that in, it's just this little rack. Oh, this one comes with an arpeggiator. So yeah, this without the doubling, it's just like that. And then the low boost will just do this. It just like boosts the fundamental of the recorded cereal bowl. And I did a little bit of pitch drift, like random pitch on each key. It's kind of cool. Like a detune in a way. There's a lot you can do, like in terms of sound design, still with just samples. Can we mute the spammer? And put you in timeout. Neat. Yeah, so these are really sweet. But they only really work because they have so many round robins. Like all these, basically multiple recordings of exactly the same note at the same velocity, so it can alternate between different samples. But how do in Serum? Anyone got an idea? Because we do have, in Serum, we do have the multi-sample oscillator, and I have created some multi-samples myself, actually from my polybrute as well, where, come on, there we go. For example, the saw. Which is really neat, and you can see like where the samples are sitting. There's like different velocities are recorded. Like a really nice soft analog saw. But like there's only one sample on the same note. Yeah, how does it how can it run through that list? Is that a thing in SoundFont? Yeah, the only other way I could imagine it work is exactly you have all 3 oscillators loaded with 3 different ones, and it randomly picks one. Or, but this is not really that possible. I would need like a random chance that you play that I want to play a C, but it actually plays a D pitched down 2 semitones. Because that would sound different. Because a different sample. I think that... Oh, that's what the timbre does. Maybe I just randomize this. Yeah. And I put a bunch of samples like next to each other, but then this gets randomized. That could kind of work. Let me see. Let me load up another one. And then on you, we get not on random, but not that intense, but bipolar. That kind of works, yes. Hell yeah, okay, we're on to something here. Override, can you please be like this? Increase polyphony. Nice, okay, cool. I know this has some weird low end because it's analog, but you can always like filter afterwards. Randomized velocity? Yeah, how? In the preset. Can you? Like, obviously in Ableton you could put a thing before this. Randomized octave is nice, yeah. But I just want to recreate the round robin thing. Can you randomize velocity in some way here? Don't think you can, right? I mean, it would just give you another random modulator that way, which is the same thing I feel like as using the note on random. Right? Guess the ARP can. What can the ARP do? It does have velocity, but it's like a target. Like you give it a certain amount of time here to reach a certain velocity. So if I give it, I'm gonna start with a high velocity. Hey, there you go. Now it's taking like a second and a half to go from whatever I'm playing to this target. Does it work the other way around too? If the target's really high, but I start playing really soft? Yes, does that too. Nice. Just needed a test. Note block aside velocity. What? Here? Assign note on random to oscillator volume. Yeah, basically. But that wouldn't change which sample is picked, because the velocity does change which of these 3. I have like 3 different velocity layers here, as you can see. And that does change with velocity. You can do stuff here. You can change this curve. That's nice. Ooh, let's turn this back off. But yeah, yeah, more fun stuff would obviously be some note on random on the octave, so that it can go like +1 sometimes, and some delay and reverb. Sounds like ringtones. Fine, I guess. Oh yeah, I can give you those too. Like I will hand these out in a preset pack eventually, because I'm still working on like a really good Serum 2 preset pack. But I recorded some supersaws from other synths, just like every key from really low to really high. And I kind of like the fact... Oh, Ableton volume's kind of down. I'm just being really quiet here, I guess. And I kind of like that it you get the sample repetition sound with these samples in here now, because it's I kind of like that. Because I would do that otherwise in the past a lot, where I would just like loop an audio clip of big chords. But just as an example, real quick, if I made a big chord here, big old chord. Also, these are kind of an octave apart. Gotta fix that. There we go. I kind of like that you can hear that it's the same thing looping. Let's make a cool chord progression real quick. Kind of something like this. The repetition should be... yeah, something like that. Oh, it's kind of the simulation rhythm. You're right. it just happens. But yeah, I recorded all kinds of different supersaws from different plugins and also from my analog synth. And then if you just like stack them in here, you kind of get a super duper saw. Yeah. Oh, this one's from Dune, that plugin. Some of these turn out louder than others, so you kind of gotta like line them up. And that's kind of nice. And in this case, I do like the repetition of that, because if I just used a supersaw instead, it wouldn't sound like that. It would just be like, whoops. You still hear the retrigger sometimes, but it's just not the same. Maybe you could get that by doing this, but then per voice? I guess, kinda. Like if we do shuffle this, you still get the pew. It works a little bit. Pew. But yeah, I do like the multi-sample thing for that. Have you ever made a Ghost in the Shell inspired track? Actually, I haven't seen it yet. I only recently, a couple of years ago, watched Akira for the first time. ID from the mini mix? You mean the... Oh, hi, Skybreak. Hello. Yeah, cute. I'm a big fan. And oh yeah, and then also I have been making some fun wavetables, which are also going to be part of the Serum preset pack once that's done. I've made all kinds of... the other day I made a zap generator, which actually turned out pretty good. Laser zap generator. No two zaps are ever the same. You can see there's a lot going on here already with how this LFO is being randomized. I know, how come I haven't watched? I know. Yeah, the stream will be saved. It's randomizing some selection here, some stuff here. There's a lot of weighted chances. Oops. Go back to where you were. A lot of weighted chances here if something should be on or not, especially the effects section. But yeah, there's a lot of note on random happening. It's a chance for a disperser to be on, for delay to be there, for a comp filter to be there, for reverb to be added. So yeah, this one you just have to like keep recording in the back because you can't go back. Zoom. And did I make another one? I thought I made something else as well. Oh, bending metals. Oh yeah, this one's just this is playing really, really low. And then there are 2 comb filters here and even more comb filters here. I think 9 comb filters in total. And it's just randomly pitching this up and down, sometimes introducing bend plus or minus, and then adjusting the speed. You can also set it to steppy, then it's kind of like this. Transformer sounds. And like export some stuff out of that as well. But I've been making some wavetables as well, and with all kinds of different methods. Sometimes I really like just doing, like maybe just doing some FM and exporting that out. And sometimes in Serum, sometimes in Faceplant, because in Faceplant I just like the visualization of it a little bit more. But this has been working pretty well, where I would just... Oh, this is my default setup now. I made a new default setup for Faceplant where there's some wavetable with basic shapes, a filter, and a distortion, and then some additional stuff down here already in place, so I can immediately start FMing. When's the next chill song coming out? Oh, there's gonna be one on the album. Watching stream delayed and you're making cool kicks now. Want to know song Effervescence? Kicking the drop is so woody and weird. I kind of love it. No, I don't know that song. Oh, also, someone asked earlier about a snare, about a Space Laser snare. Which song was that from again? Was it Bug Bass? I did want to look that up real quick. Oh, Teflon King. There's an artist called Teflon King. Oh, is that not on... It's not on Spotify. Let me look that up real quick. Oh, it was in Voltage 1. It sounds like a live recording. Oh, that's just a really nice, noisy, like, we can make that, or something like that. Should we do that in Serum or in Faceplant? I feel like in Serum. Kick 2 would also be good for this. But I feel like, yes, I've heard Stacks. Stacks is really cool. Yeah, I think that is actually... That's kind of the pitch of that snare. And then let's aim for that this way. There we go. So this is just going to create a little transient for us. And I'm going to use a different envelope for the volume here. So I can like control how long that is separately. And then for the noise, let's just try it with white noise for now. And that gets its own volume envelope as well. I know this doesn't sound great yet. Let's run the noise through a high pass. And that can kind of like move upwards, I feel like, for like a smack, like a push. Wrong direction. Something like that. And now the most important part, the compression and distortion. I was playing it an octave too low. Oh, you don't want random phase. Yeah, you're correct. Sometimes I forget that at the start. And we can play around with the length of the sine. Obviously, the clicky attack might be a little too clicky. Could get a little shorter. Or not start as high. We do need a little bit of click. It is pretty loud. Maybe no hold. But instead, Jesus. I just want you to be... I wish there was another stage in this. Might have to do that with an LFO, but you get the idea. Like play around with the filter position. Noise could be stereo. Noise could become stereo as well. So it starts mono and then opens up. You can also obviously try different distortions together. Maybe one of the distortions also kind of does this. Yeah, that's kind of neat. Then we could also try other noises. Always going to sound like just a little bit different. But I did kind of like the little stereo-ness we got from this. Yeah, it kind of goes in that direction. You can process this further if you want. This is kind of the pitch. Do you? Just a little more, maybe. Yeah, we could put a clipper at the end. I'll just do this. And we could maybe transient shape you. Let's do stab as well as the 4-band transient master. Just both together. And then clip it again after that. This might get a little loud. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Oh, uber loud also. Oh, that's from where did you see that? Here, STU. That's from a Boom library. I guess I haven't used that in a while. It's just loud. Yeah, that helped, I guess. Why not? It's very clicky now because of all the transient boosting. So maybe a little bit of fade in. Like actually a little bit of fade in on the volume can sometimes help there. If it becomes too clicky. Or we end up exporting it into audio and then we can do a fade there or make it a little quieter. Transient's okay. It's a little, almost a little too spiky. I kind of like this. Yeah. A bit more of a bro step snare with all the brightness. A little more evil without the high sustain. And we could also pitch you down further, like especially if this is all nice now and I don't want to ruin the patch by messing with anything in Serum, I might just go and have like a frequency shifter do the pitch. Like that. That's pretty good. Maybe one more EQ before the clipper. Also have a look. Yeah, beef you up just a little bit more. 4K is kind of fine. This way it becomes a little more of a bro step snare. I kind of like that. A little disperser? I don't know. Let's try it though. I guess I would be more likely to try it on a snare than on a kick. It's kind of good for both, I guess. But it is gonna mess with our transient. Yeah. Transient's becoming a little messy now. Up here's better. Down here is kind of like, that's fine again. Could kind of work. But I do like the really nice click. Yeah, don't think it needs it. And then it's resample that. That looks pretty nice. Instead of just compressing the crap out of it to make it louder and make it like more make it just loud all the way through, like a big old sausage instead of this, I often resort to doing this instead of putting a compressor on it. Like just make this louder and then fade that with the rest, kind of like that. Manual maximizing. And then you can still, like, when you use that later as a sample, you can still do this if you wanted to. But that's a nice snare. I'm gonna save you. Stream snares. Oh god. No. Funny because I'm German. I do want the high version as well. Let's get that one as well. And maybe, screw it. This one can stay chill. What's the transient look like? Pretty good. Could even remove that little fade at the start. This is still fine. Yeah, that's actually okay. Just getting rid of like a tiny bit of those super bright high frequencies right at the start that don't even do anything for it. Like it still sounds good from over here. Nice, we made a snare. Yeah. Tips for Sega Sunset bass from Lorne. Let's check that out. Sega Sunset. I've heard it before, I just don't have it in my memory. Yeah. A lot of these synths, both the and that bass, do have some kind of convolution thing on it. Like, they could have either been, if those are analog synths, maybe he ran them through amps. Like, I feel like with Guitar Rig, you might be able to do something like that. It almost sounds as if it's going through a formant filter in a way, you know what I mean? It's like very... like there's quite the peaky EQ thing on it, and I think it is an amp. Oh, volume super low for that one. Oh, sorry. Like, I feel like if I just did... Let me just try this real quick. I know it doesn't sound as cool as the Lauren one. I just want to try either... I don't think it is that, but just for fun. Also, there's like a lot of... It's very like... You can kind of hear how it sort of goes into that direction. Just with the Foreman filter. Like a little bit. So alternatively, I wonder if a cabinet. You kind of hear how it also applies this weird filtering to the sound. Oh, it's mono. That's why I was like... So that's why I think it was an amp, but I don't know if it's like an amp simulation, if it's a real one or not, or... Far? There we go, near off axis. That goes into the right direction. And then maybe OTT it after that. It's also obviously like very dirty and analog sounding, like there's some imperfections in pitch. Maybe we could get there again with a little bit of FM from noise. That's starting to sound a little Lorny. The reverb's getting a bit blown up by the OTT, but that's okay. Alien Insect Base, thank you for the $5. How do you fine-tune / modify the transient of a snare to get it similar to deadmau5, Professional Grief snare, or Space Laser's Teflon King snare? I mean, you can play around in here a little bit more with just how that initial pitch zap, since this is on the pitch of the kick of the snare, like how that is shaped. That's going to change a little bit. We could also, again, do that thing where there's FM from a noise or something happening just for a split second at the start. Or you can technically take like all kinds of transients from other snare samples, from kick samples, and just replace them later. Like export this and then like grab a transient from somewhere else. That totally works. One more time, white noise. I'm just gonna try this one more time here real quick, where we get some white noise and put you here as a sample. And then the FM from noise, but like super, super fast. Oh, we have used up all the envelopes. I'm gonna do this. Pew. And now that's gonna... Hey. Oh, because if I'm from noise, I'm from B. There we go. Now that's gonna change the transient again. So you can... Jesus. That's kind of fun. It's a little too intense in certain settings, but yeah. I do kind of like the... There is something about the really intense one that could be interesting in a way, if tamed. Or like, we did something to the noise maybe. But yeah, Lauren synth. yeah, for rims, it's kind of a similar thing, but just noise kind of works best, in my opinion. And you can also use lots of other samples, but it's just like a lot of distortion, honestly, on a noise or on some other noisy sample. You can make rims out of snares or out of claps. But just finding like a noisy thingy in here. And combining that with a bandpass, probably. Maybe around here. Like kind of like in that range. Maybe we can run a second filter to cut off some low end. And then it's really just the fact that, like, obviously it needs to get quieter over time and have a really strong attack. You can even distort that more. Yes, like the death whistle noise right now. But then we could have an envelope at the end of this after the distortion in charge of the volume. So let's do this and then bring you down. No. And you shouldn't go all the way up. But that's not enough. Might need even more of this here. Transient still not strong enough. But you kind of see where it's going. So maybe transient shapers. But that's sort of the start of it. Maybe it could get a little darker, like that. And then since you can't really change the, I mean, we can change the pitch here. How about Reese from Silento Mephius? I don't know if I have time for that. I do need to get some other stuff done. Yeah, this is going in the right direction for a rim. I would probably either like export this into audio or process this a little bit further afterwards. Maybe a little bit of multiband compression, an EQ, a transient shaper. Maybe this one's going to be enough, and a clipper. And then boost the attack. Kind of like that. Yeah. And then if you want to change the pitch some more, instead of, like, either you could go into Serum and change the bandpass filter frequency, or we could use a frequency shifter again. This does have too much low end. Kind of like that. And then you could obviously also just export that and then pitch that sample, the final sample, up and down. Oh, the low pass here, that actually worked pretty well. Nice. Different starting position in the noise also does a lot. Using different... Oh, this is a good one. What if we had an even tighter bandpass? Yeah. Nice. And if you feel like it, maybe a little bit of reverb or something. A little tiny bit of room. Nope, not that. This. And then kind of like that. Also makes it a little bit stereo. Yeah, it's a rim. Yeah, because someone asked, like, can you do rim shots? So I was like, I'm gonna do rim shots. Oh, this one actually sounds really nice. I want to save it. We have an audio track down here. Cool. Where were you? Here. Gotta wait for the reverb to end. Sweet. Oh, so nice rim. Maybe could even also cut you here and then fade you in. Nice. Kind of works. Yeah. All right. Very happy with that snare. All right. I think I'm sign off for today. But thank you all for stopping by. And I hope I was able to help you out on some of your sound design questions. Did you drink water already, though? Yes, I got lots of water here with me. Thank you for your concern. Sorry if you just joined. But it's nice. No, I like this also because it's if I'm like at home and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do anything. If I stream, I have to be productive because you're all watching. Kind of helps the productivity a little bit. I'll put the kicks and claps, or let me see real quick. What was it? Yeah, I'll put those on Patreon real quick in the next 5 minutes. So if you want to grab those, you can grab them there. Bye-bye.